Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Try Neverwinter. And it's really hard for me to just say the word Neverwinter because I'm used to saying Neverwinter Nights, which is of course a fantastic role-playing game set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons and Forgotten Realms and all this stuff. But Neverwinter is a free-to-play MMO that has just been released, and it actually went through quite a few different iterations before it ended up in the current form of being this free-to-play MMO, which is currently in open beta, but it's basically been released. I mean, you know, more and more products are doing that these days, especially when they're sort of this free-to-play model where they can get away with this beta title, because if anything goes wrong, people are like, well, it's just beta, right? And oh, well, it's free to play, at least you didn't pay for it. And to a great extent, it's sort of a perception thing. Now, I have not yet played Neverwinter. This is going to be very much first impression style thing. So I'm going to be curious to see if the game still has a beta feel or if it really has a release game feel or what. So it is going to be free to play. They will have a built-in shop with the ability to purchase additional stuff. We're going to take a look at that if we get a chance to do so. Certainly there's going to be the ability to get more character slots, rename tokens. You can see right on the screen the ability to rename your character. The Foundry is really interesting. We're certainly going to talk about this sort of thing. The Foundry is going to be the ability for players to create their own content, and that's really where I think there's going to be a huge coup here with this game. Because, I mean, if the game is a good MMO, then it has a chance of sort of surviving on its own. There's a lot of good MMOs out there, especially in the fantasy genre. I mean, there's certainly no limit to options there. If you want to go to the ginormous World of Warcraft, to the pay once and then free after that, sort of Guild Wars 2, which is a very different experience. And so where does Neverwinter fit in? So, I mean, the gameplay may be fantastic, or it may be average, or what, I don't know. Hell, it may be completely broken. We're going to find out together. But the fact that it has content creation tools built right in, that has a lot of potential, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes exactly. We'll take a brief look at just the option screen here. Not a whole lot we can see in the general options, just you're inverting your camera X and Y for your mouse controls. Standard keybind. What? There's not a whole lot going on here, and it does have a very different feel from most of the games. It does have built-in voice chat, which I'm not going to test, but it's nice to see that. It bothers me that some games still don't have that today. And I know it's not a free thing. You can't just like click one button and add voice chat to your games, but it adds so much, and there's so many kind of available codecs and libraries and stuff out there. It really does add quite a bit. Lots and lots of graphic settings to tweak. I mean, you can have it on basic mode where it's just, you know, some little sliders, but then if you click through, you get lots of options, so you can really fine-tune it for your system. I'm going to be playing this with, I believe, everything more or less at 100%. I guess we can go above 100%. I don't know. Everything's going to be pretty high, and we'll see how that works for everyone. Interface, you know, a few little tweaks here. Interface scale, which is good. Now, HUD and chat, I can't seem to access here. I'm thinking that may be something that I can access once I'm in game. Save your UI, load your UI. Great. So again, the game is still in beta. For all we know, we could start playing and then have a big character rollback in there. And by the way, if you see me look over on this side, it's because I'm live streaming this and I'm kind of addressing the chat. So yeah, with that, we're going to start a new character. Now, I have played Dungeons & Dragons for a long time. This game is based on the 4th edition rule set, which, from a sort of a gameplay point of view, they were, you know, pretty well designed and balanced and all that. But in terms of actual fun factor, I'm still a 3rd edition kind of guy. I play 3.5 edition, although if you were going to start from scratch today, I might actually recommend the third-party Pathfinder, which is almost like a 3.75 edition very well. That being said, in terms of computer game mechanics, it may work very well, and it looks, from what I've seen in terms of previews and things so far, it looks like they've made quite a few modifications. It's not a direct use of the rules as is, and I think that they actually went with a great sort of mechanic there. Anyway, I'm going to join up on the Dragon server over here. There's going to be a cutscene which I'm going to skip. These cutscenes are available on YouTube, and you know, I don't want to be copyright flagged or whatever. Let me just make sure everything's groovy over here. Yes, excellent. So we have a variety of races to choose from. The very standard D&D fare, and half-orc is maybe not quite as standard, although it's certainly become so, especially I believe in 4th edition. And another one that's not doesn't feel quite as standard-ish is the tiefling, which is a sort of someone with demonic blood is basically their background, hence the horn. I mean, they're not necessarily evil, although they do tend to be a little bit more chaotic. Other than that, human, elf, half-elf, dwarf, and halfling are very standard fantasy tropes in general, and certainly so in classic D&D and all those things as well. So, in terms of what kind of character to make, I thought what we'd actually do is look at all the character races first on this screen, male and female, and we certainly see, like, one of the problems, right? This is going to be the big critique in the game that's still going to be leveled to these people. The male and female elf, for example, here, their outfits are basically the same, the color, the cut, the patterns, the motifs, and yet one of them is half naked for no goddamn reason whatsoever. Listen, we all like to play attractive characters, but you're not helping, guys. Like, really? With the big boob plate that says, stab me right here? And, you know, people have pointed out, actual armors have pointed out, the problem with the boob plate is that if you hit someone with a sword or a spear or something like that, basically on the boob, what it would do is deflect the weapon directly into the heart, into the middle of the chest. Makes no sense. What you want, and the male character doesn't even have this properly either. Like, proper suits of, like, the full-plated kind of thing often had, like, a wedge kind of like this that would actually deflect the blow away from the middle of the chest. So whatever. I mean, maybe in game the outfits are reasonable. I mean, it's always good to have the choice. Some people want to dress awesome, like, you know, scantily, whatever, and that's fine. But this is not helping people. God. So yeah, all right. Let's go through. So half orc, human, elf. I don't know, like, what the finger thing is going on here. I mean, I guess maybe this to me is looking like very armory or warrior-y kind of armor. This maybe less so, and then this starts to become like mage, sort of priesty armor. This is especially priesty to me. And it doesn't seem to randomize. Like, if I click and click away, it's always the same one. Yeah. So it looks like the half-elf, or the halfling is being stereotyped as a rogue. I mean, those poor fellows. And the tiefling, and then coming soon race. And I believe the hint has been that drow is going to be the race. Yeah, and I know obviously these outfits are just examples of whatever. There's going to be plenty of options in-game, but it's not helping. So half-orc, I mean, half-orcs traditionally, and each one of these races has an ability, or a variety of abilities built in. So the half-orc has Furious Assault. They've got 5% more damage in their critical hits. They get +2 to their dexterity, and either Constitution or Strength. So the half-orcs obviously they're very physical type people. They're going to make good fighter types, good possibly rogue types with that bonus to dexterity, which I don't often think of a half-orc as like a stealthy type rogue, but the sort of brute type rogue certainly fits in very well. Swift charge, 10% bonus to run speed for 3 seconds when you enter combat, can only occur once every 20 seconds. That actually sounds really good. I'm a big fan of things that boost your speed in these games. In World of Warcraft, I played as a druid as my primary class for a long, long time, and you get addicted to the fact that when you're in cat form, you can move like 30% faster. They changed some of the mechanics and some of the patches, but still, as a druid, you could sort of just walk faster than everyone else and go instantly into flight form, which is amazing. And those little things are quite nice. I feel like this sort of thing would be quite good in player versus player those types of situations. Now, I don't know what the balance in terms of PvP and dungeoneering and raiding and things in Neverwinter is at this point. But to me, those sorts of speed boosts like that often really factored in those sorts of situations. Human. So versatile defense, they get 3% more defense, whatever defense means. +2 to any ability score. So classically in D&D, the thing was that, you know, of course we stereotype all the races at something, but humans can be anything they want, right? But there it is. You're still, generally as a human, you're less specialized, but you have more flexibility. Heroic effort, gain an extra heroic feat point at level 10, 15, and 20. And that's also very common in D&D, is the idea that these feats, which were sort of extra sort of power-ups that you could add to your character and sort of customize your character. And again, because humans didn't have as many built-in abilities, they just tended to have the ability to choose an extra feat and customize that so much. So you'd have this 3-footed person that would have this really weird sort of gait trying to walk around, and that's a terrible pun, and I apologize. Dwarf! The dwarfs stand your ground. They have a resistance to knock and repel effects. Well, they're so short, how are you going to knock them over? No, dwarves, classically very sturdy. +2 to Constitution, very hit pointy. Strength or willpower. Oh, you have to choose one of them. That's really interesting. I mean, again, classically in D&D, the dwarves always got a bonus to Constitution. They're much tougher, more hit points, resistant to disease, that sort of thing. And then later on, they really sort of played up the idea of this sort of the priestly wise kind of dwarf thing as well. So they also make excellent clerics. It's interesting that you've got to choose here. Also got a cast iron stomach, so they get a resistance increased damage resistance to damage over time effects. And again, classically, the dwarves are resistant to poison. They weren't immune, but they were very resistant to poison. And the fact that this just applies to all damage over time effects here is pretty potent. Again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know what kind of damages are there, but theoretically, this would apply to burning effects, to any sort of damage over time shadow effects, or cold, or anything like that, including poisons. So that's pretty cool. The Elves. +1, and I'm assuming these bonuses are the same, yeah, or boni are the same between male and female. Extra crit chance increased by 1%, so it's interesting. The half-orcs do 5% more damage, but the elves are 1% more likely to crit as a base. +2 dexterity, int, or wisdom, so again, good rogues, but also good casters of any kind, clerics or mages. Wild step, 10% resistance to effects that slow your movement. Interesting. Again, if this game has a strong PvP aspect, which again I don't really know, that sort of ability is extremely potent in those sorts of situations. Other than that, just sort of handy overall. Dilettante. So half-elves classically have they're half-elf, half-human, right? And they are partially based around the idea that they have some amount of human flexibility, but rather than having a broad human flexibility, they can mostly just sort of steal like one aspect of another class that's beyond what they normally play. And that's kind of what's represented here. So if you play a rogue, you could apply this dilettante ability to a strength or something like that, which would be outside of the normal class, based on my understanding of classic D&D, which may be a little different here. So +2 con, charisma, or wisdom, knack for success, +1% deflect, +1% critical severity, and +1% gold fine. All right. Halflings, which are very small and quick and light, obviously very, very strongly inspired by The Hobbit, by J.R.R. Tolkien, where they were natural, what were they called? They're not rogues, thieves, brigands, burglars. Burglars, that's the word I'm looking for. Your small stature and quick movement, 3% chance to deflect incoming attacks. They get a bonus to Dex, Charisma, or Constitution, which I find it's quite interesting that you still have the trio of choices. In this game, they're really looking to give the player the ability to mostly do whatever the hell they want with all these classes. And bold, they resist crowd control effects. Interesting. Oh, and the Tiefling. 5% damage to targets below half health. So that's pretty strong. That translates effectively to 2.5% more damage all the time. Assuming an even distribution of damage. And that is a really potent ability. Holy cow. Charisma, con, or intelligence. Whenever you're hit, you have 10% chance to lower the power of the attacker by 5% for 5 seconds. So, I mean, effectively, that means whoever's attacking you is going to be doing about 0.5% less damage overall. If you're rounding things out. I'm really intrigued by the Tieflings, actually, and maybe I'll make a Tiefling wizard. He's so broad for a wizard. Like, maybe I can fine-tune him. To me, he's too beefy for a wizard. And that might work better. We'll give him a try, though. So, character classes. So, it looks like, from what I read, there were 5 classes built in. But I think there's going to be a lot of flexibility and a lot of additional classes. I mean, they're already hinting that they're going to add more classes here, but one of the big things to note is this is specified as a Trickster Rogue, and that was one of the concepts added in 4th edition, in that you didn't just pick Rogue as your class, or you did, but there were different ways of sort of sub-specializing right from the beginning. In that a Trickster Rogue is probably going to be based heavily on misdirection, but also in pen and paper D&D was based heavily on charisma, as opposed to a different, and always dexterity, very important for a rogue, but then there was another type of rogue that you could add in that was actually based on strength as opposed to charisma, and he was more of a brawlery type thing. So expect many, many classes as things go forward. Will they cost money to unlock? Probably. Devoted Cleric, Control Wizard, which, again, in pen and paper meant a lot of ways to manipulate the battlefield, lock down opponents, and that I'm hoping he's also going to be a potent damage dealer, and I'm going to assume that's the case. Great Weapon Fighter. Everyone wants great weapons. Well, in this case, it means two-handed weapons, generally speaking. And then the Guardian Fighter, that's going to be a more tanky person who fights with the one-handed weapon and a shield. So damage dealer fighter versus tanky type fighter. And there might be, some overlap in their abilities. They both seem to have the dungeoneering ability, for example. But I'm going to go to the controlling wizard. So it looks like I'm going to start with the magic missile ability. the Chill Strike ability, and Arcane Singularity abilities, as well as the Arcana trait. You collect magic items to sell, and you can interact with arcane objects. Okay, now, one of the concepts added in 4th edition to combat some of the issues in previous editions in terms of balance between the classes was the concept of an at-will ability, an encounter ability, and a daily ability. So a daily ability in 4th ed you could only use once a day, but they were very powerful. Encounter abilities you could use once per fight. An at-will ability you could spam as often as possible. Those concepts exist in Neverwinter as well. But obviously, the big question would be, well, how do you do a daily ability? That sounds pretty sucky. Who wants to do something only once? And in this particular case, the way it's going to work is you're going to have an actual power meter that fills up over the course of combat, so that every few sort of fights, then you will have this daily ability available. But you're really going to want to like pick and choose when to use it. Ideally, you save it for big boss fights, for example, and then you hope that it fills up again before the next boss fight comes up. So we're going to explore those mechanics and how they exactly work. Because again, this is the first look. I haven't actually played the game yet, so it's going to be experimenting. So ability scores, well, that's very interesting. So yeah, primary abilities, intelligence, of course. I am playing a wizard. Secondary abilities are wisdom and charisma. Racial ability bonus, choose one. I can get... okay, so the way I was reading with the ore, that's good. So regardless, I'm going to get a bonus to charisma. And then I choose intelligence or constitution. Well, I'm certainly going to want intelligence, and there's no doubt about that. Now, it's interesting that you actually do roll for this. I'm surprised that you can't just spend the points. Are the totals the same? So, we got... 30, actually I'll just do the final digits here. So we've got 18, 1, 9, 19. So really we're just going to want to keep re-rolling and re-rolling and re-rolling until we get the highest possible numbers. This reminds me of playing Baldur's Gate. Does this seem right to anyone else? So again, we're at an 18 bonus here. I may have miscounted the last time for all I know. 10, 8 minus 2, so this is actually a 16. Although, so this is lower overall, but it's got the highest possible int, which is most important for this particular character. So I might want to keep this kind of thing. I'm going to re-roll a few more times. I'm just going to sit here. You guys, watch me roll stats for 20 minutes straight. I just want to get an idea for the range. So that's 10, 18, 20, 19. This is 18, but again, it's got the 19 over here, which is pretty good. I mean, how much do I care about these other stats? Well, con's always important because hit points are pretty freaking strong. And that's the thing I don't get, like, I'm really not getting the ability. I guess it's auto-distributing my highest roll here and my next two over here. But I would really like a decent con as well. 18, 14, right? Yeah, well, 17 and 20, but crap int. Lots of charisma. More con and dex, which is good. Overall, decent number, but I want more int. I kind of just want to go again until I get another 20 int, and then I'll lock it in. It's not too shabby here. We're at 21? No, 20, 19. No, all right. It's pretty even distribution overall. 10, 18. All right, here's the 21. It's spread out. I don't have a high int. I don't know how important, like, I don't know anything about the mechanics of this game, so I don't know what's the important balance over here. Is it always 78? So it is a point-based system? Yeah, that would make sense. So let's just, you know what? Good enough. It'll be interesting to see how much the control factors in. Force, personality, persuasiveness, and leadership. I want that. I don't need wisdom. I mean, I'm an attractive demon guy. Good enough. All right, so it's appearance presets and a customize button. So let's look at a few of the presets. Can we zoom into the face? Yeah. All right, I think we can all agree that the eye tattoos are pretty cool, right? Me. I kind of like this one. Okay, let's customize. Head shape. Bald dreads thick and tied. Wow. So I wasn't properly bald. I was like quite short. Ooh. Oh, damn, that's cool. Faux hawk, no. No, we don't want like emo demon guy. I mean, they're bad enough as is. There's a lot of hair options. I'm actually really, really impressed. All right, he looks cool. Although the collar thing would definitely be an issue going forward. I'm going for the tied up dreads. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's very functional. You know, I mean, frankly, if you're going to be controlling the arcane forces and throwing fireballs at people, the last thing you want is a strand of hair getting in the wrong place at the wrong time. That could spell disaster. Good choice of colors. I'm fond with my wizards, you know, to give them that sort of gray hair look, but not with the tiefling. I think I like just the dark. Like this. Sort of like that smolder of, I mean, the fire and brimstone, right? And coal and charcoal, that kind of look. Eyes. We have, okay, natural eyes. Depending on what race we play, we may have more options there. And then, of course, the choice of color. They have, like, the weirdest pupils. He kind of looks cross-eyed, but I don't think that's what's going on. Or he's just looking off to the side. Oh, that is what's going on. I like the brighter eyes, sort of stand out. Eyebrows. Cannot customize the eyebrows of male members of the tiefling race. Well, that's unfortunate. Or facial hair. I guess I don't have facial hair, I have facial spikes. It'd be nice to change that, though. So I'm at the middle-aged complexion. Whoa, wow. Yeah, you can go quite old and wrinkly. And again, with wizards and things, sometimes I like to do that. But I think for this one, I'm just going to hedge my bets and go middle-aged. What's cute? Yes, he's adorable. Middle-aged. Horns! Alright, so horns 4 as opposed to... I mean, I do like this one again, as a wizardy type, but I really... That, to me, is the way to go. Tattoos. So... the different god tattoos. And then... Claw of Sunset. It's got tattoos down here as well. Ooh, oh, Cyric. Yeah, Cyric. It's been a while since I've read Forgotten Realms. When I was reading it, Cyric was still at that point the god of death, like lies and strife and all these things. And I think some of his portfolio has been pulled away. It's pretty badass, though. But, you know, he's not the god that you want to advertise on your face to walk around in civilization. Hello, I have the most evil god in the entire realm. I'd like to buy some ale? Yeah, no. What is Gothic? Doesn't look like there's anything. Grey Wolf? No. No, no. Some of these might be somewhere else on the body. Yeah, see, I don't see it there. I might just be missing it. Actually, some of it might be on my forehead. And that's why I can't see it. Oh, in fact, it is. When I switch to high sun, I can just see a little right there. And if I click away, there's nothing. So it's under my forehead. The fading, the rotting. No. Thunder Beast. Thunder Beast. Oh, well that's cool. It's like a yin yang. Here, the rest of the face is tattooed and the eye's left blank. And here the eye is tattooed. I'd be honest. I'm not totally feeling the tattoos for this guy. Although the Cyric one is actually super cool. Eh, fuck it, we'll be evil. Scars. Of course you got lots of scar options. Gotta uglify these people. But not me. Well, the burn scar is actually kind of reasonable for the mage. Yeah, you know what? I like the balance that it gives us on the other cheek. Face scaling. There we go. So we can screw with everything. I'll fiddle with a couple of sliders just to look. Head size. Head width. Yeah, I mean, there's some options there. Head height. And then what about just warping something? Brow height. It's mostly hidden by my horns. Nose. Just trying to get an idea. Actually, I quite like the broader nose on this guy. Body shape. Default toned, heavy, slim. Let's go for slim. We're a wizard after all. He looks much better now that he's slimmed down. Yeah, the default is really broad. And body scaling, there we go. We can tweak a million things as well. I'm going to call it done. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, why can we, like, we can't actually even see his body to make decisions about stuff. Yeah, the default tiefling, he has hit the gym. Holy crap, man. He's been doing the P90X and the insanity and... Alright, slim. Well, him too. Yeah, so let's, like, well, feet thickness? Yeah, there's actually a lot of meters to play with here. Very cool. Alright, let's put his clothes back on and continue. Character origins. Ah, so that's another thing. I don't play D&D in the Forgotten Realms settings, generally speaking. So I never played with that sort of aspect of character creation as much, but it's very big in Forgotten Realms, where with your character you pick a specific origin, and with that you get some choices of bonuses. Now this might not be a bonus so much as a story type thing. It's hard to tell. Yeah. Baldur's Gate, Flaming Fist Mercenary. Position of power in Baldur's Gate, Malcontent Refugee, Worldly Swashbuckler. I like the idea of coming from Waterdeep, though. I mean, that Waterdeep is the capital city. It's like the big city. I mean, there's Neverwinter as well, but I don't know. I don't know if Waterdeep is necessarily the biggest, but it's very important and very magical. I like the up-and-coming immigrant. I mean, I'm a tiefling, right? I don't know if I'm a native from anywhere other than, like, the 7 hells. 9 hells? 3.5 hells? Pi? I don't know. And, oh, deity affiliation. Interesting. Well, I do have the Thing of Cyric. Maybe I didn't put that on my face, though. Maybe I was in a gang, and they put it on me. It's like, it's a troubled past. I'm like trying to get past it, but I still have this stupid thing on my face. So Kelemvor is interesting because Kelemvor is the god of death now, right? He is supplanted Cyric in that particular role at some point in one of the books. And he's not an evil god of death. He's more like neutral, balanced, hence the balances here. I don't feel like that's what I want my character to be, though. There's Ogma, Lord of Knowledge. It's a good fit for a mage. I mean, it's not really the god of magic, per se. He's more that god of knowledge, sort of secrety type things. Seek knowledge, bard, lordkeeper, sages, scribes, wizards, thrives on new ideas regardless of the consequences, and the communication of knowledge on its form. Oh, not so much secrets. So I like that idea. We're going to go with Ogma. Continue. All right. Oh, God, character name. What are the random names? What? Lucis Dretchsticker. Kind of like Lucis, actually. That's kind of... It's got a badassness. Loisis? I don't know. What else we got? Why is the font so big? Achemenos Blackbard. Okay, we really like this first name. Balor Fist. Charon Balor Fist. Amonon Angelbane. Alright, so I look like a demon. Should I go around with Angelbane as my last name? I've got the tattoo of Cyric, and I'm called Angelbane. I'm just asking to get my ass kicked. Theray Bowboy Song, Incubor, Lemur Slayer, or Lemur. It's a type of demon. Scamos. I like Scamos, but I think we're gonna go for we're gonna write our own. Just trying to get an idea. Coilbone. Coilbone is cool. Coilbone is really cool. I gotta think of these names ahead of time. Scamus Quilton. Alright, we're gonna go with Quilton as a last name, because why not, right? All my people will be like Quiltons. I need a first name. Lucifer. I will be Jim. I will be Jim Dark Magic. What do you mean it's been taken? Laurentius. Laurentius is cool, Steve. Laurentius. Laurentius Quilton. Laurentius is not, like, his first name is actually, like, is like Lori, right? Or something like that. He's like, no, I shall be a powerful wizard, and I shall be renowned far and wide. Renown? Renown? I will be known far and wide as Laurentius. Okay, Lori. No, Laurentius! Alright, that's my name. And we can type a bio and, born Lori. He has embarked on a quest to accumulate arcane might and erase his birth name. His ludicrous birth name. There we go. Good. Boom. Boom! Level 1, baby. Alright, we're going to put a break in the video here. There might be a cutscene. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll put a break. Oh, badness! Oh god, it's a dragon! This is exactly how the D&D MMO started. Like Eberron. Oh, we're shipwrecked. There was a dragon.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah, except, oh my god, I've got horns on my head now. What happened? Bin Laden? Really? Bin Laden? Alright, so we're going to put a cut here, and we'll be back with the next episode in a moment.